Hello, everyone. So today I am going to tell you my top tips that you should do before you decide to live abroad. Now, before I begin, I would just like to tell you a little bit about my personal experience. So I've lived in the UK for about a month, and after that, I lived in South Korea for a year, right? So, at times it can be stressful. So, I know for me, there was a lot of things that I had to do, right, ahead of time. So, I would just like to provide you with some of my personal tips that really helped me. So, number one, cancel any subscriptions that you don't want to accumulate while you're in that new country that you moved to. So I mean things like it could be auto insurance, it could be mm, subscriptions such as Amazon or things that maybe in the country that you're going to it's not applicable. So it's important to cancel those subscriptions so you don't accumulate money, right? That you have to pay for while you're at home, while in that foreign country, right? Because you might forget to check use if you don't have an app, right? Then you might forget to check and you're accumulating debt, right? So it's important to definitely cancel subscriptions that you don't really need, right, ahead of time. Number two, sell whatever you can ahead of time, right? So things like a car or anything that is that is expensive, things of that, so you can accumulate some money that you can use or you can save for later while you're in that new country. So it's definitely really important to do that, right? Anything that's of value that can be sold quick, right? Next one is number three, get your phone unlocked ahead of time. You can always get your phone unlocked in that country that you're going to, but sometimes it can be quite expensive to do. So it's important to get your phone unlocked because it makes things a lot easier. So once you actually go to the country, you can just get a SIM card, put it into your phone. Damn, that's it. Phone works, right? But also make sure that some phones require a code to get unlocked. So make sure you get that code from your service provider ahead of time to unlock your phone, right? Next one is learn some basic phrases of the country's language, right? Like, it's so important to learn basic, like hello or goodbye or thank you, things of that nature. And the reason why I say this is because it just makes things a lot easier. You can have better relationships with people when you go to that country, and people actually really appreciate it and are grateful for the fact that you learned some phrases and stuff ahead of time, right? So it just makes your whole experience a lot better, and you just develop a good sense of respect of the people that are in that country. Next one, learn a little bit about the culture and the customs of that country that you're going to. The reason why I say this is because the whole point of going to a new country is to learn. You're in their country, so it's important to learn a little bit about the basics, right? Like mannerisms, bowing. If you're going to like country in Asia, it's important to bow. People usually don't shake hands. Sometimes when you're having dinner with people, it's a custom that if you're the younger person in that group, you have to pour people's drinks of water or whatever at first before you pour your own. Um, Things of that nature. So it's important to learn just a little bit about that, right? It makes your whole experience a lot easier. Next one is research a little bit about the city that you will be living in. So research like where the hospital is, where the police station is, what the local emergency number is, where the bus stops are, how are you gonna get to work or whatever, things of that nature. That just makes things a lot easier. Yeah, and also you can like research places where you can eat, things of that nature. It just makes things easier. Next one is pack according to the country's weather. So for me, when I was living in Korea, uh, the weather is either extremely extremely hot or extremely extremely cold. So I had to pack, my winter jacket and a fleece and a bunch of t-shirts and things of that nature. So it's important to research what the weather is going to be like year round, right? Next one is also join a foreigner-friendly Facebook group in your city. Because it makes things so much easier when you actually get to the country. You're already making friends. You can connect with people. They can give you advice. They can tell you the best restaurants to go to. They can even help you learn the language if you want to. It's good to have that connection with other foreigners so you don't really feel lonely when you're in the country. So it's good to have that connection right on the get-go. Next one is convert some cash ahead of time to the country's currency that you're going to. How much, it really depends on the cost of living in that country and things of that nature. It's good to have some cash in case of an emergency. If your credit cards don't work as soon as you get there, you could be screwed. So it's important to have some reserve cash. And if not, you can always exchange. If the exchange rate is cheaper once you get to the airport in that country, then exchange your cash there. But it's always good to have reserve cash just in case. Another one is to get a credit card ahead of time that has 0 foreign transaction fees. You'd be surprised, if you decide to use your credit card a lot and it does have a foreign transaction fee. Some of them can be really, really on the high side, and you would just start accumulating, a lot of debt from just using that credit card that has foreign transaction fees, right? Even a small transaction here and a small transaction there can accumulate to a lot because of that foreign transaction fee. So it's good to get a credit card that doesn't have that ahead of time. Also, the last one is just become familiar with the rules and customs of the country beforehand, right? It's important to, because when you go to a foreign country, their rules and what they think is the law, or what is the law, sorry, is different than the country that you're from, right? For example, sometimes things can be like as simple as walking and eating. Some places you can't do that. You can't walk and eat, right, at the same time. It's considered rude. Or tipping. Some countries such as Japan or Korea, it's considered rude to tip your waiter, right? So it's important to just become familiar with those rules ahead of time, so you don't get in trouble, or you don't just look like a complete idiot when you get there, right? So anyways, those are my tips. I hope they helped you in some way. Yeah, have a good day.